topic of this video is about how the left falls victim to their own values and then they complain about it. So that's what we're going to look at today. I thought of this video when, some of the leftist people in the comments were saying about how they had a broken home and their lives were, poor and unhappy. And let's think for a minute back to what the most common cause of broken homes is and who advocates and supports the causes of broken homes. The left. First of all, because the left is number one, they're rebelling against Christianity and against civilization. And the laws of Christianity and civilization say, you don't have sex till you get married, and you have your kids and your marriage, and you stay together, you raise the kids together, you be unselfish, you be responsible, you take care of your family, you put your kids first, and then you train them up to be good citizens. Well, the left doesn't like that, because the left wants to have sex with anyone at any time, any place, anywhere, and they do not want the responsibility. They do not want kids most of the time. So if a kid happens, they either bump it off via abortion, or they desert the kid and leave the mother to raise them. Well, then the mother doesn't have much money. Mother's poor. She has to get government assistance, and socialism is also another left-wing tool of propaganda and control. They have gotten rid of the father. The left does not like fathers in the home because fathers exert authority and control, usually, especially in the best of circumstances. And so the kids grow up poor. The mother struggles to provide. They get assistance from the government. This keeps the government in control, and the mother's going to vote left-wing because she needs the benefits to survive. So you see how many different ways the poor kids are victims of the left-wing ideology. Because the left-wing, and if the kids are also going to be left-wing, they'll have to say that my father, who deserted our family, was absolutely right. He should not have to give up his many women. He should not have to give up his drinking. He should not have to give up his drugs. He should not have to be miserable and sit at home with my mother in a monogamous relationship and take care of me and as the annoying kid who happened, he never wanted, and he should just be free. Don't you see this, leftists? See, I'm trying to reach them with reason, which proves that they can be reached, because the walkaway proves that. Some of the leftists can be reached through reason and discussion. For instance, I can see why any school child, teenager, or college kid who does not have a working knowledge of history, society, and social evolution and civilization would fall prey to the thought of, why can't things be free? Why is socialism bad? I can understand why they might ask that question, because they don't know. But once you research it and learn for yourself and see all the terrible things it's done and see how it messes people up, you're going to realize that we need to find other solutions. Maybe you'll say that just the pure capitalist solution is not really a solution because it keeps, the rich versus the poor. But we need to look for other solutions and not go the way of socialism, communism, because that has been proven to be bad, detrimental, and fatal, often fatal for people who they're thinking they're getting something better, but they're really not. They're just getting something worse. And they're just ending all opportunities and all hope for their future. At least in the capitalist society, people have the opportunity to rise if they have the motivation and determination. And there's lots of things that go into this, but bottom line is, instead of trying to trod the old paths, let's make some new ones. Like, for instance, as a conservative, believe that the funding sources of a lot of these social welfare programs are designed to put the government in political power over you and ultimately bring in the socialism and, control, bring in tyranny, destroy our lives. Now, I'm not saying that these programs need to be abolished, like I know some conservatives might say, but what I'm saying, or the church needs to shoulder all of that, because obviously the church is not always able to shoulder those kind of responsibilities. But we need to find different paths of funding for some of these types of programs and shift them away from government, because the government trying to buy votes and trying to have people be beholden to them for their livelihood and for their very existence is extremely bad. And I believe that we can find working solutions that coincide with the conservative and American values that our country, the American country, is supposed to represent. And I think these politicians are just too lazy to look for other solutions or think outside the box. Either that, or they just figure as long as they've got more money coming in, more power coming in, everything can just ride, just let it go. We want results. We want improvement of society. We do not want the tired old stuff that doesn't work. These politicians are incapable of thinking farther than the next election. They're like, what do I have to do to get elected next term? Beyond that, who cares? No, we need solutions. Anyhow, back to the left. So you see my point. The left advocates individual complete freedom, no responsibility, no consequences, or as few consequences as possible, and no societal restraints. So the bottom line is that the leftists set families up for failure. They set parents up for addictions, and that doesn't count the abusive relationships that the women probably end up in, multiple relationships, and also the men probably fighting over the women. So some of these people are not only getting diseases, getting beat up, some of them get killed. It's a really bad scene, and the kids are getting abused, and you see it's all because of the left-wing values, and they are victims of their own system. So the leftists need to wake up and realizing that they are harming themselves, and their leftism is actually very, very bad for them. It's unhealthy, and I mean, you have to have a future. And that's why the kids are the future, your family is your future, but all the left thinks of is their present. They want to sleep with so-and-so. They want this drug. They want this drink. Now. They're not thinking of the future of the country. They're not thinking of the future of their family, their life, their anything. They're just being greedy. And you cannot live a successful life, operating in that manner. So I think this is a very good point to bring out, the point about how the left falls victim to their own failed ideology, their own greedy, selfish ideology that doesn't work. They are not admitting it doesn't work. They just double down. So basically, if your parents ran off on you and you're a liberal, then you should say your parents were pursuing their happiness when they ran out on you. Conservatives would say, if you're going to make babies, you got to stay and take care of them, and you got to work for them, sacrifice for them, and all that. You got to be responsible. So you see, the conservative way is civilization sustaining way. And the leftists, their ideology is just setting themselves up for personal disaster, tragedy for decades to come. All right, so I hope you've got a few things to think about, and think about what I said of how we need to figure out new ways to work on society and different funding paths for the poor and needy, and not necessarily government funding that can be manipulated for nefarious and tyrannical political purposes. So we have lazy politicians who do not think about fixing problems. They just want to stay in office and keep collecting big fat paychecks. Well, those people are drags on civilization, and they've got to go. All right. Nice talking to you. Take care. Let freedom ring.